O P Gupta, and he is a person who is a postgraduate from BHU, and he is not just a simple, the ordinary postgraduate. He got 5 gold medals. He is a gold medalist, and he also got the coveted, you all know, the Chancellor Gold Medal of BHU. He had served as a lecturer in mathematics in the Science College and later at the Institute of Technology, BHU. He is a 1970 batch IRS officer and 1971 IFS officer. He is an Indian Foreign Service officer who retired in December 2006, and he retired in the pay and rank of a secretary to the government of India. He has also served as an ambassador, high commissioner in various states like Tanzania, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Republic of Haiti, Cayman Islands, Turk and Caicos Island, Finland and Estonia, Tunisia, and he has also served as a consul general in Dubai, Birmingham, UK. So he has also served as a second secretary commercial at Tokyo and as deputy high commissioner cum commercial counselor at Lagos, Nigeria. Ambassador Gupta is a very prolific writer and is also a tireless crusader for the nationalist cause. Sir, we request you to deliver your keynote address, please. Thank you.
Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we are aware, the National Advisory Council, headed by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, herself a Roman Catholic Christian, prepared the first draft of what is now known as Prevention of Communal and Targeted Violence Bill 2011. There are 135 sections in this bill with 4 schedules. As we would see, this bill is anti-national, as it would destroy social harmony existing among different sections of Indian people. This bill presumes that majority is always guilty of all the allegations made or to be made by any minority person till that majority person proves his innocence. So it is anti-democratic as well as anti-constitution. It is anti-majority, so it is definitely anti-Hindu bill. This bill is an open assault on human rights of all Hindus, whether leftists or rightists, whether living in India or abroad. Even Hindus living abroad will be adversely affected by it. Please see section 2 of this bill. Explanatory note of July 21, 2011 to this bill, as circulated by the NSE, states that evidence from state records and several of commissions of inquiry confirm institutional bias and prejudicial functioning of state organs when a minority is attacked. So this bill, this very basic premise has been held to be unconstitutional in a recent judgment of the Supreme Court. I refer to 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court comprising Justice Dalbir Bhandari, Justice C.K. Thakur, Justice Deepak Misra, in their unanimous judgment of 16 December 2011 have rejected this perception of the NSE on which this bill is premised. Fundamental principle of Indian criminal law is that everyone is innocent till proven guilty before a court of law by an accuser, except in cases of terrorism. But reversing this general principle, Sonia Gandhi has got drafted this bill in which every Hindu shall be presumed by police and by courts to be guilty of all allegations made against him by minorities. Thus, for the first time in the history of modern India, all Hindus have been targeted and presumed ab initio in law to be criminals by birth, and Congress party wants to do it by fooling we all Hindus. So it is high time for every Hindu to come out of his slumber and at least read the text of this bill. With this bill becoming a law, all Hindus living in India and abroad will naturally be looked down upon by host communities as potential criminals and may face more immigration problems abroad. This bill thus tarnishes international image of we all Hindus. Hindus, whether leftist or rightist, whether upper caste or lower caste, whether rich or poor, shall be arrested merely based on a complaint, howsoever flimsy, by a Muslim or a Christian or any minority. As Section 56 of this bill makes all offenses under this act cognizable and non-bailable. This bill makes another factually incorrect presumption that communal riots are always started or committed only by Hindus and never by minorities. Definition of victim under Section 3K is such that this law can be invoked only against majority Hindus by minorities. Muslims, Christians who commit violence and similar hate propaganda against Hindus cannot be booked under this new law as they are not included in the definition of victim, so they are exempted from this. Thus, in criminal law, we will have two sets of laws, one for Hindus and one for minorities. It is well known that Muslims had attacked Hindus in India while demonstrating against Prophet Muhammad's caricatures published in Sweden. We Hindus had nothing to do with what happened in Sweden. But if you remember, processions were held out and Hindu shops were attacked. Under this bill, a Hindu against whom a Muslim, including a Bangladeshi Muslim infiltrator, a jihadi terrorist Muslim, or a Christian or any minority, including criminals, make a complaint, that Hindu will be presumed ab initio to be guilty of all crimes by a minority, Section 70, 71, 73 of this bill, that Hindus shall have to be arrested as all crimes under this bill are cognizable and non-bailable, that Hindus shall have to prove his innocence before a court of law. The Muslim or Christian making complaint is not required to give any additional proof or evidence to support his allegations against the Hindu he has accused. Section 70, 71, 72. That Hindu shall not be informed as to who has made complaint against him. Section 38. Consequently, the accused Hindu shall not have right to cross-examine his accusers. But the Muslim or Christian who has made the complaint shall be regularly informed about the progress of the case. Section 66 and 83, that during the pendency of the case, the court can attach property of the accused even before that Hindu is found to be guilty. And in case Hindu is found guilty, his property under Section 81 shall be auctioned to pay damages to Muslims and Christians. Under Section 40 of this bill, no statement made by a minority victim, a witness against Hindus or informants shall be subject to be tried in a court of law for giving false evidences. In other words, a witness giving false statement against a Hindu cannot be prosecuted for giving false evidence. Thus, this bill encourages minorities to make false complaints against we Hindus. Section 126 of this bill states that for prosecution of offenses, there shall be no limitation of time. It means a Muslim or a Christian or a minority can reopen cases against Hindus of all the past cases, even right from 1947, if not from the earlier ones. Taking advantage of the law contained in this bill, a religious minority can force any Hindu to sell his property to him or rent his property to him, can force a Hindu to write off debts a minority owes to him. A minority employee or a minority subordinate of a Hindu can fix his own boss. If a Hindu landlord wants to evict his Muslim or Christian tenant, he cannot do so, because under this new law, that tenant can complain of harassment and first he will go to jail. If a Hindu has any Muslim or Christian employee or subordinate and pulls him up for unsatisfactory performance or dismisses him for inefficiency, then wife or any relative of that minority employee can lodge a complaint of causing mental or psychological harm, which will be sufficient to arrest that Hindu under Section 3K. If a Hindu refuses to do business with any minority because that minority person is rude or dishonest or supplies substandard products or does not pay in time or does not supply products in time, that Hindu will commit a non-bailable, cognizable offense under Section 3FI of this bill, and he shall have to be arrested. If a Muslim or Christian boycotts Hindus, he shall not be arrested, as boycotting of Hindus by minorities is not a crime. Hindu businessmen who have business dealings with minorities must read this bill before it is too late. Naturally, in order to save themselves from being victims of this law, Hindus in general may start reducing all interactions with minorities. This bill has potential to widen gulf between majority and minority. That's why many intellectuals and analysts rightly call this bill divisive, killing spirit of secularism and multiculturalism. In fact, this bill is worse than any Aurangzebi farmans of 17th century and reduces we all Hindus de jure to second-class status and will force every Hindu to dance to the whims and fancy of every minority, even if that minority is their driver, cook, or employee. This bill, if enacted as a law, shall give a legal weapon to every minority, even a beggar, to send to jail any Hindu he wants to settle his political or personal scores. So this bill must be opposed by we all Hindus, but preferably through ballot boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you once again for giving your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta. And he has very well laid out the nuances of this proposed bill in a legal, the legal nuances, the legal framework,